Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Skill RPA. So in the previous video, we have seen like how we can set up our UiPath SDK activity template, and we created our first custom activity. Setup is done, and now we need to work on activity. So when it comes to the activity, so we already have one file, activity template and activity template view model. So first we will build the logic. For this, we will rename the file to calculator. Hit enter, and it is asking like to change the references. Click on yes. So all my references will be changing to calculator. And now I want to do operations, math operations. So for that, what I need to do is we will create an enumerable before we get into the code or actual logic. So for that, we will just simply use public, you know, and then we need to provide the names here. Name here like operations, operation, and inside of this, we will define the names. So here, I'll just start writing the name. It is add, and we will be having everything comma separated. Subtract, multiply, divide, and comma is not required here. So this is our enum. Like this is how we will define our enum, so that like we can select the option in the drop down in the activity. So now we need to come back to this. This is where we need to start working together. And before that, what we want to do is we will say that like this activity is going to return an object. So I doesn't want any void or something. So I want to define here itself is going to return me an integer. Now all my this execute activity itself is got failed because we are defining that like this activity is going to return me a result where like I doesn't have this. So by default result argument will be, and in case if we doesn't want to keep this, we can remove this and we can create an out argument and we can set the value there. So first we will see in this way, and then we'll start exploring more and more in terms of creation of the custom activity. So now here what I need to do is I need to create some arguments, what arguments it is going to take. So first let us define what are the input arguments we have. And for that, like we need to give required argument or not as well. So for that, like we will be using the square braces and we will write required argument, right? And after that, we will define our values, whether it is an in argument or out argument or something. And we will use the public keyword because I want to expose it to entire code. So input argument. So it is saying sorry, input, not input, in argument. In argument. And I'll say that like integer, and the name of my argument is first name, and we will use get and set colon and set colon. How we will define the in arguments for our in custom activity. So I'm just copy paste these two lines again, and I'll take it as sorry, not first name, first number, and this is second number. So these are the two inputs I need to give in order to perform any of the math operation. And now we need to give another argument, which is kind of like need to be selected. For that, as it is like it is a required, we'll say. And but here we will not be saying the in argument or out argument or something. So what we will do is public, and we already created an enum with operation, right? That we will be taking. And the name is selected operation, you can say. Operation. And if I hit tab, it will be going for get and set. So I have defined all my input arguments which are required. And now we mentioned as an int here. So we are going to return the value back to the activity. So there will be a property with the name result automatically created. So we will see. And now here we need to change this execute, right? So instead of void, you can say simply int, right? And simply say int, and we'll see why still we are getting this. Like we need to have a written here. So, so we can have a log message here inside of this. Um, but what I can do is I'll simply say return. So that I want this to return something, and here I'll simply say int. Okay. So now there is no errors for me, but now we need to include our code here in the execute internal, but we are taking two inputs, right? One is the first number and the other is second number. So what I will do here is I'll create two arguments, int first number, int second number. I'm taking these as an arguments. Here I can simply send those numbers, but before that I need to create a variables, right? So I'll be creating var first number equal to, so we have the first number defined here, right? I'll just copy this from here, say dot get, and from inside of parenthesis I'll use context. Whatever the context we have here, we will be using this. I'll just close with the second. Now it is done. Now I need to get the second one. Var number, and when I hit, it will be auto completed for me. And now I need to pass in the variable arguments first number, comma second number. So now there is no errors for me. Like now what I am doing is in the execute, I'm taking all the values, whatever the in arguments I'm getting into a variables, and I'm calling this execute internal by passing this as an arguments. And the implementation, entire code logic implementation, we are going to do inside of this execute internal. Okay. And even here also, I can put some conditions whether to call this activity or not. Let us suppose we are having this divide. We cannot divide it with 0, right? So here I can write an if condition. If second number is equal to 0, ampersand happens, and selected operation equal to operation dot divide. Okay, I'll close this. And I'll hit it, and here we will throw. But why we are getting this error? Getting this error. Right? So what we need to do is have dot get correct public. Why I'm getting. Okay, sorry. Here I need to use the dot. Now it is done. So in case if it is 0, then I want to throw an exception, throw new exception, new divided by 0 exception, divided by 0 exception. And in this, I can write my text. Second number cannot be 0. B, so division for the selected operation. So in case if we are asking to do the divide, if we have provided second number as 0, then it is going to throw an exception. Else it will call this internal and it will perform the action whatever we wanna do it. So now inside of this, by default it is having the not implemented because the code is not implemented. We are asking it to throw it, right? We doesn't want to perform. So we have an operation. So before, because we have multiple drop downs, right? Like so, every time you will be getting a value. So instead of writing in if condition or something, you can simply use a switch case. Okay. So it says selected operation switch. Okay. I can say operation dot add. In case if it is operation dot add, what we will do is we will just simply add first number and last number, second number, comma. So I need to put a return here. Operation. So in case if it is add, it will return this value. In case if it is subtract, I'll just simply use first number minus second number. In case if it is operation or multiply, change this minus to asterisk to multiply my number. And in 5, I'll asterisk divide. So this is the operations I need to perform. So I'm just removing this comma here. So I think this should, I need to keep a closure for switch case. So this is my logic, entire logic to return the value based on the action to be performed. So I completed with my logic which needs to be written back to the UI, sorry, the activity. Now we need to work on the design. So in case of our design, right, like we need to go to the resources and here we need to write all of our tooltip values, whatever we want to have. Like when we are hovering the mouse, what we are going to do, right? So I'm just changing the name calculator underscore description. So, description calculator underscore display name and simply say simple calculator activity, simple calculator activity to perform mathematical operations or just activate. And here I'll just later going to be my activity name. Perfect. And I'll just use I can even define like for the first name, first number, second number, and operations also. So what I will do is I'll just simply write display names and uh, calculator underscore first number or display name. This, but I'll just simply change this to tooltip. Tooltip, so display name is like what is available to see on the screen for the property name. Tooltip is like when you hover your mouse, it will give you a clear description that like what actually, right? So now I need to prepare the similar for result, second number, and first number. At first, let me write the description for this. This is going to be my uh, first number, this and first number, and I'll write the tooltip is uh, input of first number, and here I can simply say property name, put things small so that like things will be consistent. I can property description. Now what I want to do is I'll do this. Oh, oh, some random copy, paste, paste. Deleting this here of first number, I'll just change it to second number. Second number, number. I'll just change it to second number. And just simply say result. Result. I want to change it to result. Display name should be result. Result of selected option. The result applying the selected operation to the two inputs. Now this can be my selected operation display name, selected operation. So why we are defining and all these things, right? We will see that like how we are going to use it in going further. Not to worry, like in case if you could not able to understand why I am doing this, but just to showcase the display and how we are going to use it as part of our code in terms of view model, we will see that. Select the operation to be applied for I'll just take this, put here, set operator. The operator operation to be applied to be applied or on the two number input number. Okay, numbers. So it's done. Now this is not required. I'm deleting it. Not required. So yeah, I'm saving this. So we have defined all this. And now we will go to the view model and I'll rename this to calculator view model. I click calculator view model. You want me to change the references? Yes, do it for me. And now we'll start working on this. See here, design view model. Here we need to uh, write our design in arguments to be test. Okay, here simply take this public design in argument is an integer. First number get set. See, if you see here, right, by default, out argument is created. We didn't created it, right? Like by default, it is created. That is what like the advantage we have, like in terms of if we are having only one result as an output. For having multiple, then we can use and set methods in order to do it. That we are going to see in further videos. And now I need to write the second number as well. In a similar way, coming here, I'll just simply say this is my second number. Second number. So these are I need to have, and also here we can say design property as an operation. One more argument we have, right? So public design property, design property, and we have operation. Operation. I have given. We will see that. Selected operation. It. So here we have an issue with this. Why we are we missed out to import something. Yeah. So we'll choose using calculator on this calculator dot operation. This perfect. Now the issue is got resolved, and now we will not touch this calculator view model. Uh, what we will do is like we will work on this uh, initialization model based on initialization model. Inside of this, like we will start working in model. So we need to write all the properties. So I will not be touching any of these existing. Now I'll start writing about what is going to be my uh, design time validations or a display and all this. So we defined a lot of things here, right? Calculator descriptions, first name and last name and everything, right? So now we will come here and for the properties, we are not going to touch with work on this calculator description or display name, but we will be using the rest everything here now. And I'll just simply use first name, first number dot display name equal to resource dot calculator first name display name. For that reason, we implemented these, created these details in the resources so that like we can simply change directly from here so that like it will get reflected. So instead of like going to the CS code and changing it, like we can simply change from here. And now first name dot tooltip, first name tooltip, and now first name is required. Yes, it is required. First, we need to say that is it required or not. True. And first name dot is principal. So why we are setting it to is principal is like whether we want to see that into the design main category or not. So in case if we are setting it as a false, like there will be an option like show advanced option drop down or something. So it will go into that category, but I doesn't want to do it for this. So I'm just putting it as a true, and we need to define the order index. So for that, what I want to do is like in which order you want to see all these values, right? So for that, I will be creating an variable order index, and I'll put it to 0 first. And now we will come back here and first name, first number dot order index equal to order index two, and here I'll just put plus plus. So this will be common across all the scenarios. And now I need to go for the second number, right? So take all the entire thing from here to here. I'll just what I will do is I'll just go and open the notepad, and wherever I have the first number, replace it with second number with second, replace this, put it here. It's not giving me any error. Now what I will do is I'll change the second number, selected operation, replace this. Now I will go with selected operation, replace all. Copy and type, file select. dot calculator selected operation tooltip 3. So I missed out to rename it. So what I will do is I'll control Z, keep it as it is. I'll come here, move this to tooltip 3, and save. So if I come here, the error was gone. So now we have everything perfect. Right? Now we need to go for result. Okay. Instead of selected operation, what we need to do is we need to use the result output, replace all. Done. So I'll copy this and I'll put it here. And in this, I doesn't want to have this. Is principal is not required and is required is also not required. So now we removed this is required because output is not mandatory to have an required argument, and is principal we have kept, but here we didn't even. Okay. And what we will do is we will take it. We will see like how in case if we are putting it as a false, how it is showing. If you are not mentioning is principal, you will need to go to the properties panel and see that, like, because it will not be available on the design screen. So we will see that, like, I'll just put it as a false, so that like you will get an option to in the below of all these properties, like you will be having all these properties in the design itself, and you will be having a hidden or like expand button, so that like you can see this output also in the design. If I'm not even using this, you will see that in the folder properties panel. Now in case if I write this way, you will not see a single property uh, in that. So now let me keep it as it is. And even we can have some other as well, like we can create a category or something, first name, number, dot, category, and we can just put a category name by like input. What will happen is it will go on sit in the category of this. For now, I'm not doing all this, but you can explore all the available other methods as well and going further. So what we have done is, like, in terms of design and in terms of functionality, we completed our code. In the next video, we are going to see how we are going to configure our metadata and publish the code and see it in the action of Visual Studio. So till now, what we have done is we built our calculator. See, whatever we are going to do, right? So here we are going to get our arguments and we will do the validations. And here we are going to implement our code. So these are two are the methods which we have. And in case if we doesn't want to implement this, then we will be just putting, instead of in argument, we will write out argument. And under once we get this internal back here, we will assign it to a variable and we use the setter method in order to set the value to the output out argument. So that is the only difference we have, and entire functionality will go under this particular execute internal class, whatever the actions we want to perform. So hope you got some basic understanding of like how we will start with our uh, custom activity development. And in the next video, we are going to see how we are going to configure the metadata, and then we will publish this package and we will import it into the studio, and we will see the custom activity in action. Okay, with that, like hope you like the video, and please like, share, subscribe to Still RPA YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.